This is a make or break day for Joe Biden, and his campaign knows it. Top Democrats in the Biden administration and on Capitol Hill tell CNN the meetings of House and Senate Democrats today will likely decide the president's fate one way or another. Meeting number one in the House just wrapped up, and it appears Democrats are still divided. One member tells CNN there was a sense of sadness in the room as several Democrats refused to say whether they support keeping the president as the party's nominee.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's sadness in the room because, you know, it didn't work and that the party is, you know, going with Joe. I think that's what it is. That's the reason why they're sad, because they would be joyous if they actually basically came together and in the closed door meetings decided, like, yeah, he has to get out. In closed door meetings, Senate Democrats expressed their deep concerns about how the race is shaping up and how their constituents fear that Biden may lose to Trump, according to an attendee who said that a wide range of views were expressed about the best path forward.
Or not. CNN's Manu Raju, of course, is tracking it all. Manu, what are you hearing?
Yeah, in fact, I did ask.
I think the funniest thing that's going to happen is this is wee speculation alert. They go with Joe, and because the Republicans are on a pathway to basically destroy the country and destroy their electoral chances, he still like ekes out a marginal victory. Okay, a lot of safe Senate seats that are up for re-election that were supposed to be safe are lost in the process, because the races are just far too fucking close. And then Joe Biden comes out and does that fucking annoying ass, like, I told you, you cast me aside. You said I couldn't win and I won. And then he dies. Like, literally dies the next day. Okay? A light breeze takes him out. Remember this. Remember this when remember this November 6th, okay? Put a reminder out there. Because, like, this is the other side of the equation. And I have been saying this as well. Obviously, it gets a little bit lost in the conversation about Brandon's, like, election chances, right? But, like, there is still, even with a Brandon ticket, a chance that the Democrats do win. Okay? That's not even, you know, that's not insane. Like, a lot of people, I think, are saying, like, oh, it's 100%. Oh, it's 100%. It's not. It's not 100%. The issue, however, is, no, it's not 100%. Dude, you guys are... No. The chance is unimaginably slim, which is why it is a problem, because it should not be a contest at all. That's the issue. The issue is, especially with Brandon's weakness only getting worse as time continues, because he's this is the one thing that time does not fix. When you are at the end of your life, when you're at 1 HP, more time doesn't solve that problem. Okay? So obviously, Democrats are looking at the millions of dollars that Biden is spending right now, okay, that he's got from his donors, and recognizing that all of those fucking ads are not actually improving his numbers in the polls, and every single person is now talking about how fucking old he is. And the New York Times editorial board is like, you have to step aside. That is not going to be fixed, because Biden can't be someone he's not. Unless the Illuminati is real and they wheel out a totally different clone of Biden who is just much younger and much more vibrant, it's only going to get worse. So understandably, at this stage, with his historic disapproval rating, okay, where he is underwater and literally underperforming in comparison to the down ballot races in the states he has to fucking win, the Democrats are like, yeah, no shit, we have to swap him out. Haven't you heard time heals all wounds? Yeah, this is the one wound that time will not heal. Time is actually his enemy at this moment.
A number of members who left that meeting, whether or not they still support keeping Joe Biden as their party's nominee, and they completely refused to say, including Congressman Dan Goldman of New York.
Like, this is the other side of the equation that people are forgetting. Donald Trump is a genuinely bad presidential candidate with glaring vulnerabilities. Any reasonably serious political opposition would have dispatched him in 2016, and we'd never hear from him again beyond funny tweets or whatever. Instead, here he is, which is why I have said time and time again, 2 locks that I have put forward that have come true and or will come true, and you'll see it. Number 1, this was, until this, these past couple of weeks, the most boring election cycle, but it has the capacity to be the most interesting election cycle, like historically, as I said. And that is kind of coming true right now. Okay. And the other lock was, this is a rerun, not of 2020, but of 2016. You have a very unpopular candidate. It's worse. It's 2016, but worse. Okay. Remember that. Where you have a very unpopular candidate. You have a lot of people going, he's really, really, really unpopular. This should not be a close race at all. What the fuck are we doing? Okay. This should not be a close race at all. What the fuck are we doing is like the, overwhelming position here, just like it was with Hillary Clinton. And the Democratic Party is just wholly unable to change course, change trajectory. Should Biden step aside? All Democrats +8, Democrats 65 and older, -35. But those people will vote for whoever. Like I said. Let's continue.
Josh Gottheimer of New Jersey, Lucy McBath of Georgia, and Hillary Scholten of Michigan, among the members who just simply would not say. Others said that they're simply deciding to back Joe Biden because he is the nominee and he's not going anywhere, and that they'll have to get behind him. And then there was some enthusiastic support, particularly among members of the Congressional Black Caucus. At that meeting, people aired their views, aired their concerns. It was a bit of an open mic venting session. The Democratic leaders sat back and they listened to those concerns. There was no consensus at all in the room. When I put the question to Democrats, they made clear that there are still concerns about the top of their ticket.
If the president declines to leave voluntarily, then he's going to be our nominee, and we have to make the best of a complicated situation. I'm viewing it pragmatically.
I think that there are changes that people need to see to continue to feel comfortable.
My takeaway is great sadness that we are not having a conversation about the fact that we have 2 people running for president. One of them has a record that anybody would be proud to have.
Yeah, it's because Biden is old as shit. That's the whole point. That's why he needs to be replaced. If you don't want every conversation to be about like how fucking noticeably old and how noticeably demented the candidate is, and not about like the track record of the Democratic Party versus like what the Republicans are going to do, then you have to swap them out. Yes. You're literally going, oh man, it's so sad we can't talk about the other stuff because of the reason why we can't talk about the other stuff. Yes, dude. That's the point. That's literally the point. What the fuck? I said this after the debate, during the debate. Donald Trump did a fucking bad job at the debate. Why did nobody talk about it? Because there was something that was more eye-catching, like significantly more eye-catching. It's so stupid. Ah! Like, if one side is just going absolutely fucking crazy, okay? If one guy is going crazy on the debate stage and like demonstrating that he's maybe a little demented, okay, just a little baby demented, and the other side is just saying like unhinged shit, okay, then yeah, everyone is going to hyper focus on the demented side. They're going to be like, whoa, this guy's demented. What the fuck? Sorry, that's just how it works. You can't change it. You can't like do The Secret and like will a different kind of discourse out there. Okay? New possible funniest universe. I've been saying this for a while. Yes. Biden has now dyed himself orange, attacking the lying New York Times, and is on track to lose the election, but he doesn't have to accept Trump's victory. He could, for instance, incite a blue MAGA mob to storm the Capitol in January. Yes. He's just old. When did he become demented? Probably around 2019. Approximately 5 years ago. He's not just old, man. Like, I haven't been saying he's just old. I've been saying that his cognitive abilities have genuinely diminished in a very demonstrable way, in a way that you can see. He said, we beat Medicare, dude. When asked about abortion, he turned around and said, you know, immigrants rape. What are we talking about? Hasan, you still have your Pride Avi on Twitter? I know, I need to change it. You think his decline has anything to do with why his dog just kept biting people? No, that was awesome. I'll make you a new PFP. Thank you, Bussy Angel. Oh, yeah, he's doing the unthinkable. He's trying to become Trump, which is weird because he beat Trump in 2020. And, you know, why would anybody go for the second best version of Trump if they can just go for Trump? Trump is running. Very, very silly stuff overall. You know. Ay. All right, let's go.
And the other one is an adjudicated rapist, a twice impeached convicted felon.
So that last Congressman Sean Casten, I asked him, well, does that mean you support keeping Joe Biden as your party's nominee? And he said that I've said what I'm going to say. So you're seeing the variety of views there. The one Congressman Pramila Jayapal, who you heard from as well, she's the leader of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. She also wants to see Biden do things differently, on more unscripted events, tried to reassure confidence behind his candidacy before she takes a firmer position about whether he should stay.
Yeah, the funniest part about this is, you're right, Sam Forhin. The funniest part about this is that this is all, like, this was a real problem from the start, right? Biden's age was a problem since 2019, right? Don't let anybody fucking gaslight you into thinking that the situation was different last time around. It wasn't. Especially if you were in this community, you knew this already because I talked about it quite a bit. But of course, everybody said, oh, Hasan, it's because you want, Bernie Sanders, which is true. I did. But you know, that's besides the point. That's neither here nor there. So the age was an issue from the motherfucking jump. Okay. And it always has been an issue. But the funniest part about it is that his campaign thought, oh no, we can just wheel him out and he'll absolutely cook at this fucking debate. They chose to have an early debate. They chose to have this early debate. His campaign chose to have the debate when they did it. This is a historically early debate. They set the standards. They agreed on what the debate will look like. It's so awesome. It's so funny that they caused this chaos. Do we remember the debate announcement? Yeah.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Could you imagine having this discourse in September? Honestly, it would have been significantly better for the Biden holdouts to have this in September, because at that point you can't actually swap them out. It's over. You're a month out from election. That's why it's funny. his campaign would have done much better if they just did not have this debate this early. The fact that the debate happened this early means that there is room for change. And so now they are just literally trying to fucking push him past not the finish line, but push him past the convention. Anyway, let's continue.
As their party's nominee, her group also meeting with Joe Biden sometime later this week as Biden tries to shore up support within the House Democratic caucus. And then later today, Dana, a big meeting among Senate Democrats. They will meet over lunch with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, where there are a lot of different views and some very critical about keeping the president as their party's nominee.
Yeah, there sure are. Well, we'll definitely be seeing you after that meeting as well. I mean, such an important day. We cannot underscore that enough. Manu, thank you so much. Let's talk to our terrific group of reporters here at the table, CNN's Caitlin Collins, Hans Nichols of Axios, and NPR's Ayesha Roscoe. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Washington.
Great to be in D.C. on a pretty casual week.
I know.
Damn,
like,
okay,
nothing
Ayesha.
going on. We're going to go out and have a long lunch after this, I'm sure. In all seriousness,
I listen to her every day on NPR, so I get excited.
what I have heard, and I'm definitely curious to hear what you have all heard, particularly out of the meeting this morning among all House Democrats, is that, yes, it was a venting session. Yes, you had a variety of views and points of view. But because the leadership, Hakeem Jeffries and frankly, former leaders who have a lot of sway, are very clearly in a position where they're not signaling that they are getting ready to go to the president and say, get out. It seems as though even for those who want him gone, it is a fait accompli that Biden is going to be on the ticket. And there is frustration, there is sadness, but resignation.
Yeah. And I think whenever you hear lawmakers.
Remember how before the debate, the Republicans were preparing for the worst? Trump was literally setting up the narrative that Biden was going to be hopped up on adrenochrome. Now he can just skirt his way to the second term while the Dems implode. Yeah. Barack Obama made Joe stay in office. He's been fucking up the country for 16 years now. Yo, literally, to be fair to Barack Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, our first Muslim president, he could not have foreseen what 2016 was going to look like. But his first fuck up was telling Joe to not run in 2016. And at the time, I thought that was a smart and sound advice to give to Joe Biden. But like low key, Donald Trump would not be president if Joe Biden was the candidate instead of Hillary Clinton. No, not in 2020, in 2016. No, in 2016, Barack Obama famously told Joe Biden not to run. He said, your son just died. Okay. You're literally fucking, your son just died. You are currently, you're currently looking at sitting in a fucking, in a Iowa Motel 8 in third place behind Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. You don't want that lifestyle. Okay. You don't want that sadness in your life. You will kill yourself if you do this. And nobody at that point would have suspected that Hillary Clinton would have, gotten comstered. But to be fair, in a separate world, if like Joe Biden eked out a victory over Hillary, because a lot of people hated Hillary Clinton within the primary, so much so that they voted for a fucking Jewish socialist, okay? Like, think about that. Americans are not very advanced. We're not like Mexico, okay? When it comes down to it, there is, like those are two things that Americans are going to look at and be like, not for me. Anyone not delusional will realize Hillary was going to lose. I almost voted for Trump rather than her. Like the Democratic Party was down bad for a man who had been known as a socialist. Okay, that's crazy. That's how much they despised Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden, his chances weren't as bad, it seems, when you think about it. Barack Obama told him not to run. He would have won in 2016. Absolutely. 100% he would have defeated 100% he would have defeated Donald Trump. In 2020, Barack Obama then turned around and got everyone else to fucking personally drop out and pump Joe Biden, putting him as the establishment candidate against Bernie Sanders. Another fucking L. And now he's still defending him not dropping out of the race. This man is a demon, okay? He is a gift to the Republicans. It is crazy.
One other point.
It is crazy how much he is like, it is crazy how much he has helped the Republican cause. He might as well have been a fucking co-author of Project 2025, okay? So yes, you are right. He has been. Obama's been fucking up the country for 16 years is absolutely correct.
I got to make one other point.
Yeah.
So the president talked today about how now it's all the elites who are trying to force him out.
Right.
Let's remember what happened in 2020. Okay, the president did not run a great primary campaign. He lost badly in Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. He came out of Nevada, and Bernie Sanders looked like the presumptive nominee. And this exact same group of people,
the elites,
that the president is now deriding as elites. And by the way, they're not. They're Democrats, okay? They're party operatives, they're donors, they're volunteers, decided, and to all the Bernie supporters out there, I'm not judging this positively or negatively, they decided they didn't want Bernie Sanders to be the nominee. They decided that Joe Biden would be the better nominee. And credit, again, to the president. He decided that because he did 8 years as vice president. He did the years in the Senate. He had the record to be a strong president. And so they, through their support behind Joe Biden, and Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren and Mike Bloomberg and Amy Klobuchar, and I may be forgetting a few others, stepped aside for the candidate who was better. This myth that somehow Joe Biden came in and rescued us, it has been a nationwide movement since Donald Trump was elected president. And in 2020, that nationwide movement said, Joe, you're the best guy, let's go. Right now, they don't think he is.
That's awesome. Not as awesome as 32-month subscriber, just absolute fucking crank take from another long-term Hasanabi head. I can already smell the Tulsi Gabbard defense if I go back long enough. Well, I guess he's been following since 2020, so maybe, you know, not a Tulsi Gabbard head, but like definitely defended Tulsi, definitely defended Andrew Yang at a certain point in his career. Never liked Tulsi. Yang gang, then. It has to be. This is my favorite type of crank, okay? Like, it's great. I love these guys. I love you, chatter, more than even the PSL, you know, if you vote for her, she can win, chatters in the chat, okay? More than the Jill Steiners in the chat, okay? Bernie bro all the way. Yes. Your motivations for Bernard Sanders, your love for Bernard Sanders, unfortunately, I am afraid, probably does not come from a commitment to like improving the material conditions of the working class. It is a little bit misplaced about your, I think it's more so your resentment towards the American elites. Okay? Robert, I don't know what his middle name is, Frederick? I don't know, Fitzgerald? But you once said RKG was basically the same as Biden. He is. Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. has identical policy papers, especially as it pertains, with the exception of Ukraine, when it comes to foreign policy, as Joe Biden. Carbon copy, okay? His policy papers are identical to Joe Brandon, except he has this weird anti-medicine stance. So I will keep repeating this over and over again. It's just like, if you are like, I love the run-of-the-mill, like an Amy Klobuchar style Democrat who just kind of shakes things up, okay, when it comes to Ukraine and just absolutely despises modern medicine, that's my guy. Okay? What is this? Average 40-month Hasanabi. Is it bad or wrong to resent elites? Yes, dude. Of course it's understandable to resent elites. It's just funny to think that this guy is not a fucking elite. His last name is Kennedy. What are you saying? He came out and made an announcement that he was running for president and immediately said he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, bro, and Ghislaine Maxwell. What are you guys doing? He openly stated that a worm has eaten a significant portion of his brain, bro. What are we doing? Like, if your most important political position, like your most out there political position, for Bernie Sanders, it was Medicare for all. If your most significant political, like heterodox position is that you are anti-medicine, I'm sorry, what are we, are we cavemen? Are we Christian scientists? Like, what are we doing here? What the fuck? He is not anti-medicine. So you have a young, hot president that's basically the same as Biden, an environmentalist, someone who would actually do something, and his flaws, the vaccine bullshit, why not him? It would infinitely benefit the system if we get a third party in for once. Dude, young and hot? You're looking at this man and you're saying he's young and hot? Did a worm eat your brain? What the fuck is going on, dude? Yo, I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm actually done. I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I can't be a political commentator no more, okay? It's too far. We've gone too far. My haters won. Okay, it was actually a long-term fan that caused me to come to the conclusion that I say things and, you know, you hear them, but it just escapes your brain immediately after. Okay, I'm packing it up, dude. What the fuck? Put that thirst trap off screen. We're done. We're done. We're done. RFK called Janine a bomb factory. Oh, yeah.
To Janine. Janine is a bomb factory. Most nations, Russia, when it was dealing with issues like Janine and Chechnya, simply bombed the neighborhood because you have a neighborhood where virtually 100% of the people who live there are supporting terrorism, where the terrorists are hiding behind civilians, and where everybody is involved in bomb making.
Isn't he against big pharmaceutical companies? What's the problem with that? Wouldn't you like to see more regulation regarding medicine? Think about the crack epidemic. Wait. The crack epidemic? Bro, he's not against big pharma. He's against medicine, okay? Dude, what the fuck? Cussy destroyer. Oh, there should be a lot of people running for president tops 50 years, in my opinion. No, I mean... What the fuck is going on, bro? This is crazy. Yeah, crack cocaine, famously a byproduct of big pharma. Oh, Jesus Christ, please. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh. The funniest part about this is that, like, obviously I make jokes about like third party guys in the chat all the time because like that's just not how American elections works. And they're basically doing the Hillary Clinton style, she can win if you vote for her, which is even funnier when you're doing that for a third party candidate. But like the RFK people I have so much more smoke for because he is just like, he is identical in every sense of the word to the average Democrat. He is a literal Kennedy. He's hung out like a lot with the Epsteins. He might have driven his first wife to commit suicide. And he's anti-medication. And he literally said COVID was a Chinese Ashkenazi Jewish conspiracy. I don't know, man. And he had a brain worm. Like, he just came out and said he had a brain worm and then was apparently openly joking about how he's not anti-Semitic. He supports Israel. Yeah, he's a massive. Yeah, he was accused of sexual assault. And he said, I never said I was perfect. I got skeletons. RFK will be the best president because he defeated his brain worm. We need that kind of strength when the mind flayers show up. RFK is the type of neighbor to walk around his front yard completely nude with no tan lines and takes his garbage out on the wrong nights of the week because he's disconnected mentally. I will vote for his spooky ass. Why are like the three main people running for office all just like genuinely mentally disabled? Like openly. What the fuck is happening in America? Like actually, what is going on? You got a dude with fucking brain worms running against a dude who is demented, running against another dude who's insane. What is happening? Why are these the options? I'm losing my fucking mind. Yeah, I'm being... Oh.
And those bombs are destined to kill civilians, to be strapped on men, women, and children, and kill civilians in Israel.
By the way, he's talking about Jenin in the West Bank. He's talking about how Israel, of course, blows up Jenin in the West Bank in occupied territory because children are strapping themselves with bombs.
Most nations, and we've done this ourselves, and, you know, clearly Russia was doing it in Chechnya. Chechnya was, would go in there and bomb that neighborhood. What the Israeli IDF does is they send people to do retail combat, door to door, putting IDF soldiers at risk in order to avoid civilian casualties, collateral casualties.
This is so much funnier because it's extremely anti-Semitic. Oh no, he is anti-Semitic, but he's super pro-Israel. So like, obviously that doesn't track with like the American consciousness because we've like basically decided that you can be as anti-Semitic as you want. Like you can literally be a Hitlerian spokesperson for Israel. One of the most famous cases of what I'm talking about is John Hagee, the evangelical pastor, who literally said Hitler was the Antichrist, was Jewish, and actually did a biblical thing so that like he killed 6 million Jews so that Jews could have Israel. Like, that's not even a joke. That motherfucker was invited to speak at the pro-Israel rally in D.C. You can be a straight up fucking Nazi in the Western world. As long as you're pro-Israel, literally no one will talk about how anti-Semitic you are. Yeah, here it is.
We need to talk about bioweapons. The level, I know a lot now about bioweapons because I've been doing a book on it for the past 2.5 years.
Fucking Twitter video, dude. Come on. Come on. It's not going to play.
And we need to talk about bioweapons. The level, he's done the same thing. In fact, COVID-19, there's an argument that it is ethnically targeted. COVID-19 attacked certain races disproportionately. The races that are most immune to COVID-19 are because of the structure of the genetic structure of genetic.
Yeah, that's John Levine, one of my OG haters, New York Post writer.
Differentials among different races of the receptors of the ACE2 receptor. COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese. But we don't know whether it was deliberately targeted that or not. But there are papers out there that show the racial and ethnic differential impact to that. We do know that the Chinese.
If there's one thing you know about Ashkenazi Jews, they never get sick. Famously, I'm a guy who has never met an Ashkenazi Jew, so this tracks. Famously, okay. They never get sick, ever. Like after drinking fucking milk. Just, or in general.
These are spending hundreds of millions of dollars developing ethnic bioweapons, and we are developing ethnic bioweapons. That's what all those labs in the Ukraine are about. They're collecting Russian DNA, they're collecting Chinese DNA, so that we can target people by.
What do you do with chatters who still support RFK? Like, this guy seems crazy. Dude, respect to them. Respect to them, honestly. The only major differential he has, the only major difference he has with, like, the Democratic Party on foreign policy is that he wants to, like, he wants to cut some military spending, not to Israel, just to Ukraine. Which is, like, literally just the Republican Party's position, I guess. And he's also not just anti-vaxxer, he is literally anti-medicine. I cannot stress this enough. He is not just simply an anti-vaxxer, he is anti-medication. Let's continue.
Of any political stripe talking about how their meetings are family discussions or listening conversations. That's Washington diplomatic speak.
Serious question. Why not ban the chatters bringing up RFK for derailing like you do with the annoying selfish mental illness chatters? Because those chatters also have mental illness, but they're like an entertaining style of insane. Whereas like a annoying style of mental illness chatter is the person who's like, I'm actually going to completely move the conversation to an unfun a place and be like, you're being ableist or whatever the fuck. Like, there's good derailments and then there's bad derailments. Also, I think it's important for me to, like, every now and then talk about RFK because, like, you know, there's still going to be cranks here. I'm an independent content creator. Like, I'm an independent media personality. So as an independent media personality, I still do have like a magnet for cranks in general. So, you know, every now and then I think it's, you know, responsible. It is the responsible thing to do to, like, you know, give a checkup and explain to people who are maybe not familiar with RFK Jr. that much to recognize that he is, like, genuinely crazy. Mental health stigma is widespread. To think you are immune is foolish. Like, this person is, like, begging for a ban, right? Because, you know, I'm fucking mentally ill too. It's just that I try to make it fun. I prefer you not bringing him up. His voice is suey fuel. I know, but, you know, sometimes they got to hear it. That's actually the craziest part about it, is that, like, he's both anti-medicine and he sounds like he's fucking dying, which is always weird. Like, at least, you know, like on the most visible front, you kind of don't want the guy who's like anti-medicine, but also simultaneously claiming that that makes you like stronger, to literally sound like he is on the verge of death all the time. You know? He's also a landlord. He evicted the brainworm. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Speak for they're having really difficult conversations behind closed doors about who their nominee is, you know, just 40 days out from the Democratic convention that's going to be happening in Chicago not that far from now. And yes, I think you're seeing a lot of them too afraid to come out and say explicitly what they really feel behind the scenes, because behind the scenes privately, we're hearing from so many Democrats who say they are worried about Biden's capabilities, whether or not his fitness to serve, but his ability to perform in November. And that's really another group of lawmakers that I've been watching closely coming out of this House meeting today, but also the Senate lunch that's about to happen with Senate Democrats, is the ones who are going to be in difficult seats, in difficult districts. Look at people like Bob Casey, who's up for re-election, or people like Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin. Those are the voices to watch to see how they're talking about it, because they're worried about having to overperform the top of the ticket.
It's so striking.
There's actually logical evidence why he speaks like that. Yeah, it's that he's speaking like that to serve the 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour, so that you think you can use that as a bait to serve a 3-minute ad break. Don't they have a notoriety of having genetic diseases? Oh my God. Oh, never mind. You are actually defending RFK and saying, no, the reason why he speaks like that, I think, is because he like shot up heroin and got some kind of disease from it, and it fucked up. It fried his vocal cords. Like, that's the reason. It's not because like the Kennedys are cursed, which they are. For chatters wondering what's up with his voice, he blew it out singing in a band in the 2000s, similar to Sonny Moore, who you now know as Skrillex, or M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold. Anyway, I think it was Hep, but I don't quote me. I thought that was what it was. Yeah. Weird that he's so anti-jab now. Yeah, maybe that's why. According to him, only Jewish people aren't affected by his condition. Ashkenazi Jews are not affected by the vocal cord frying that I got. It was also due to the Chinese Ashkenazi Jew collaboration. His policies are listed clearly here. Yeah, I know. He's great. Come on, man, on his anniversary. It's the anniversary of the 3-minute ad break, by the way. You really think he's a worse candidate than Biden, though? A lot more coherent? Bro, there is no fucking... Like, what are we talking about, dude? What the fuck are we actually talking about? What do you mean he's a worse candidate than Biden? Yes. It's kind of hard to fucking find a person that's literally worse than Biden, because, like, he has the same positions that Biden does on Israel. Like, my biggest hang up with Joseph Robinette Biden right now, Biden, I'm going to keep calling him Biden. I don't know why. I'm fucking up his last name so much now. My biggest resentment for Brandon, beyond the fact that he's a selfish asshole who just wants to keep fucking staying in the race, despite the fact that he's like 850 years old, okay, is also his unimaginably violent stance on Israel's ethnic cleansing campaign. Why the fuck would I swap him out for another guy who also has the same position on Israel with no proven fucking track record whatsoever on what he might do and only promises? And also on top of that, he's anti-medication. Goddamn right, because I'm right. Wait, what? Being violently ableist is getting to you, bro. Guys, we are not having this fucking conversation when it comes to someone who's running for president, okay? I trolled him saying you agree with him. Sorry. Oh, no, he literally thinks I am agreeing with him. Of course, the RFK supporter, who is a 25-month subscriber of mine, thinks that I'm in agreement with him because a fucking dumbass chatter told him that that was the case.
How lawmakers are saying one thing privately and another thing publicly. And I don't know if that sort of divergence continues and they're able to speak with forked tongues throughout this next week. But at least publicly, they're not coming out. And I think that's where you're getting at the resignation. One note of caution on all this is that we don't know how long this is going to play out. There's no shot clock. We don't know if it's 24 hours, 48 hours. We don't know if it's a week. We do know that there are 4 big events this week: the House meeting, the Senate meeting, the whole NATO conference, and then the press conference. But even after that, there's no guarantee that Biden just gets a free pass and then it's done and over. It can always come back.
Well, on the idea of saying one thing in private, one thing in public, maybe the best example that we have seen this morning on that is Jerry Nadler, who is a longtime veteran House Democrat, who our reporting was that he made it very clear in a private meeting with top committee Democrats and Hakeem Jeffries over the weekend that he thinks it's time for President Biden to step aside.
Yeah, Nadler's gone back on this now, by the way, which is another reason why I think, like, Brandon is staying and the Democrats are going with Joe. Oh shit. What the fuck? I just blasted my zinnies, dude. No.
Here's what he said in public this morning.
President has determined that he is the best candidate, and given the fact that he's won the nomination, I mean, he's got all the delegates.
Is your support for the president a pragmatic consideration, given this president has said he will remain in?
Well, yeah. He said he's going to remain in. He's our candidate, and we're all going to support him.
Well, I think at this point, what they're saying publicly may be the most important.
It's like, yeah. Isn't that the guy who shit himself? Why are we listening to this doofus? Yeah, yeah, exactly. When the guy who shit himself on stage is saying that Joe Biden is too old to run, that's when you do listen to that guy. He's a fucking high-ranking Democrat who's been a Democratic Party politician since before you were born. It is a unique situation. Also, if I'm an RFK supporter, I probably wouldn't be making fun of other electeds shitting themselves. You know what I mean?
Because at the end of the day, if you really want Biden out.
Oh, I misheard him. I thought he said Biden was the best candidate. No, he said Biden should drop out. And then they asked him again. They're like, okay, well, what do you say now? He's not dropping out. And he's like, what am I supposed to say? He's not dropping out. Nothing else I can do.
You got to get out there and you got to, kind of put some bass in your voice and say, I want you out. And so the fact that they're not doing that, it's also, looking at the idea that you cannot make him go. We've learned so much over the past, however many years that, this whole idea of maybe you can just kind of gently say to someone, can you go? Can you go? Look at George Santos or anybody else. If you really want someone out at this point in the game, you got to kick them out. And I don't think they're ready to do that.
Well, and it's also, as you know, it's not that easy. It's totally different.
It's very hard.
Guys, one of the statements, when I saw it, I kind of gasped. I covered the Hill on and off for 20 years. And all of the time I was up there, Senator Patty Murray was a United States Senator. She won in the Year of the Woman, 92. She got there in 1993, served for more than a decade, well over a decade with Joe Biden. She is the president pro tem. So she is a very senior member of the United States Senate, the most. Here's what she said. I believe President Biden must do more to demonstrate he can campaign strong enough to beat Donald Trump. At this critical time for our country, President Biden must seriously consider the best way to preserve his incredible legacy and secure it for the future. I mean, talk about saying something very clear without using direct words.
Yeah, it was pretty striking to hear her say that. And it seems like some of the women senators, Democratic senators, have been maybe more candid in their statements about, acknowledging reality.
I don't care to listen to Biden talking about fucking NATO. I don't. He's gonna do a teleprompter NATO session. It's not gonna be like contentious. You guys are just like waiting for him to slip up. Just like I told you, the fucking George Stephanopoulos interview was not going to be like major fuck ups. He is fine he's actually fine when it comes to like not fine, but below average, not like genuinely bad when it is a conversation, when it's a teleprompter session, when it's like a limited 20-minute interview, that kind of thing. Like, it's not great, but he's not awful. We're going to do Jon Stewart in a second.
Reality and what we did see in the debate and what Democrats are so concerned about, their conversations that they're actually having privately and what this is going to look like. And obviously, I mean, this is everything for the Senate, because how they do in November could determine the control of the Senate for the end until the end of the decade. And so I think that they are taking a very real look at what this looks like. And you're seeing others say, well, he is the nominee and we're sticking behind him. But we still very much are hearing those concerns. I don't think anyone has